Welcome to our very first edition of the Trick Library series, and today is my favourite trick, the Shifty Royale. Let's address the elephant in the room. Is it really called a Shifty? Is it called a Royale? Or is it called the Shifty Royale? What's going on there? Let's go to the skate park and let's go ask some of my friends.
You know what? I call it a Shifty Royale. That's what it was always known as for me back in the day.
And who invented it?
Not Brooke Howard Smith. I saw John Pollard do it first, but what do I know?
Royale.
Shifty, mate. Australia.
Depends on who I'm talking to. Shifty. Royale, nah, it'd be Shifty.
Yeah, to me.
Definitely Shifty.
There you go. Shifty. I'm confused because it's all different on the YouTubes these days, but when I was younger and skinnier, it was the Shifty, and forever shall it remain.
All right, do you call it a Shifty or a Royale?
Oh, it's a Shifty. 100% Shifty. It's always been a Shifty. Or maybe a Shifty Royale, but it's a Shifty.
Royal Shifty.
I don't think you can say that.
So there you have it. It's called the Shifty. Unanimous decision from all my friends. Yep, I know, it's a little bit biased because they're all Australian. Let me know in the comments below what you call it, if you call it a Shifty or a Royale, Shifty Royale. And also let me know what country you're from, because I'd be interested to hear what different countries call a trick. I know in America you call it the Royale, but yeah, other countries I'd be very interested to know. So the trick, the Shifty Royale, was invented back in the 90s, and it was invented by a gentleman named John Pollard. And he had large wheels and he saw all this grinding and he said, oh, I want to do this. So he started grinding, but he found that he couldn't get on the rail properly because his wheels were too big. So what he did was he would change the angle of his skates when he was grinding to a shifty position, and he could grind the rail front side, back side. Have a little listen to the podcast where John Pollard was on. It's Mikey Lynch's podcast and it's called Mad Beef. I reckon you should subscribe to that because it's a great podcast. And yeah, have a little listen.
To say who got there first, right? But you know, he said he was trying to think, what's the first Shifty / Royale ever seen on video? Is it yours towards the start of the bottom line on the canvas car?
We as a crew can probably claim the whole Shifty thing, because when Dare to Air came out and we were seeing Chris Edwards do the big handrails with the small wheels, you know, we were just like, holy shit. And, you know, as soon as we watched the movie, we went outside and we all had big wheels, but we all started hitting handrails. And the only way that we could actually get down a handrail with big wheels is get on our frames. And so we rather than, you know, going wide stance and grinding down the insides of our frame, we were jumping on either front side or back side onto handrails and with big wheels and hitting these rails and hitting planter boxes and whatever. And it was just something that I loved doing. And it, you know, the backside Shifty Royale on a planter box with big wheels became one of my signature moves. You know, I just hit everything backside Shifty Royale.
So there you have it. That's why we call it the Shifty in Australia. But some people are still a little bitter, like a man named Brooke Howard Smith, who's from New Zealand, and he was recently on another podcast called the Jump Street Podcast, and I also recommend you subscribing to that if you haven't already, because that's a great asset that we have. And yeah, have a little listen to what Brooke Howard Smith had to say about John Pollard's claim to the Shifty.
And he will like plan and execute. I would just like jump and like squiggle my feet over the rail and hope something went right. And at some point in time, I kind of like thought, what if we laid the boot down, started working, and you could feel that you could put weight on it. And then the Royale was born, and very lucky. And there has been a campaign. Australians are not trustworthy. I think that's the first thing. I think Scott Crawford is watching this. Scott is the most trustworthy Australian, and he's still probably a 6 out of 10. But so if you want to, I'm sure they've invented something in Australia, but it wasn't the Royale. That's what I'm saying.
All right, so there you have it. I'm still going to call it the Shifty. You can call it whatever you want, but yeah, I believe that Australia was the first people to do the Shifty, but we'll never know, will we? But let's not talk about the name of the trick, because we could talk about that for days and we'll never know the truth. Let's go learn how to do a Shifty. Let's go over to the skate park and strap on our skates and learn how to do one.
So I'm going to teach you how to do a Shifty. So what you need to do is, if you've got brand new skates, you might find it a little bit difficult if you're a beginner, because you need to wear in your skates usually. Once you get better, you'll be able to jump on a new pair of skates and just do a Shifty straight up. But so just be careful when you first start doing Shifties, because you need to wear in a Shifty groove. So you can see the Shifty groove wears a nice angle, and that's where the pole sits, and you can sit nicely. A lot of frames these days actually come with a pre-built-in Shifty groove, and also in the boot of the skate. So out of the box you can do a Shifty quite nicely. All right, so I'm going to do a Shifty on this pole, and I'm going to take you with me. That's the Shifty. When you do a Shifty on a rail, you want to be right on top, but when you do it on a ledge, you need to make a slight angle, otherwise you're going to get wheel bite. If you've got anti-rocker, you can lean a little bit more on top, but if you're flat, you have to come up an angle like this. So those wheels spin. So let's try some Shifties on this ledge. And that's how you do a Shifty on the ledge. Okay, so what you want to do is, instead of having your boot straight, you've got to bend it down so it touches the boot. And you just got to keep your knees bent like that, and keep your weight centered like that. So instead of a front side like that, you jump on like that, knees bent. If you don't bend your knees, you can't get that Shifty position. So just bend your knee kind of out that way, and then if you bend it straight, you won't go to Shifty, so you've got to go that way a little bit, and then it's strong, that muscle. We'll do a Shifty. As you can see, that boot has to touch the rail, and that's what a Shifty is. Let's get a close-up look.
All right, thanks, Joe, or me. Yeah, that was good. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you've learned something and filled a few holes in the history of the Shifty Royale. And I'm going to keep doing these. If you have a favorite trick or a trick that you want to know some history about, write in the comments below, and I'll try and create one for the next episode. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Trick Library episode. Thank you.